Good evening, everybody. It is the start of a new work week. This is Hot 97 News, and the news is news, and everybody. It is Monday, May 11th. We're here with you live. I'm your host, Lana Harris, here with Million.
Keep it a million, y'all.
And our special guest host, Matt Kim. It's your last day. You can have a clap. It was going to be real sad and pathetic. Wah, wah. Gotta clap for myself.
Yeah. Clap for me, people.
No, you've done a great job. It's been a really cool edition having you.
Real talk.
So,
I've really enjoyed being here.
yes, we have a lot of topics right up your alley to talk about today, to include one I actually saw you post about on X. And here's a question for you guys at home. Did you see the President of the United States now has a golden statue of himself? Oh, yes. We have a picture of it for you. And this is called Don Colossus.
Wow.
Is that the official name?
That's the name of the statue.
What?
Yeah. Yes, it is. And that is now at Trump National Doral in Miami. It's a golf course. And, you know, it's about 22 feet tall and shows him with that raised fist. That's from when he got shot at during that campaign event, the 2024 assassination attempt. So he just sealed it forever in gold. Yeah.
It looks just like the Saddam Hussein statue that was toppled after the Iraq War.
Oh.
I think it's the same pose, actually.
No, it's
I think
not.
it looks really similar. Maybe you can look that up. Yeah.
Oh, man, that's funny.
Did
Yeah.
they use taxpayer dollars to do this, or did he
No.
pay for this? Or?
No, actually, the story of how this can be is actually a little funny to me. So it was actually commissioned by this meme coin. It's a cryptocurrency group. It was called $Patriot. And they basically commissioned that shortly after that assassination attempt, which happened in Pennsylvania. So Eric Trump ended up coming out and said, hey, that's not our meme coin, $Patriots, not associated with the Trump family at all. Don't look at us. We didn't do this. But they did allow that golden statue to be installed on Trump's golf course. Everybody was looking like, okay. So again, financially, it was actually finished a while ago, but the artist held it hostage because that group, $Patriot, the cryptocurrency group, didn't pay for it. And in the end, an anonymous donor paid the rest of what was owed, and they put it at Trump's golf course.
Wow.
Don't buy that coin. Buy our meme coin instead.
Oh, man.
Now, here's where the plot thickens for me. They actually got religious people involved. You saw people who appear to be Jewish.
I swear to God.
They're wearing, the garb, and it was actually led by Pastor Mark Burns. There was a dedication and prayer ceremony involved with all of this. And, anybody who looks at this says, well, this is very much anti-God, anti-Jesus. Like it's not like demonic. I don't want to say demonic, but it's very much giving golden statue.
I mean, in Babylon, we talk about it throughout history. There's people at one point in time in the Bible, especially the Old Testament, where they was building statues of leaders, and they was building statues of false gods and all this other things. And then God actually rained hell upon them. He shattered a couple of civilizations according to the Bible. And it just goes to show history is repeating itself. But like, it's the pastors that's now implementing this? It's the evangelists that's doing this?
Idolatry, that's the word that I was looking for. Yes. So
okay.
making an idol of something. And the pastor actually knew what it looked like because he posts about this on social media as well. He said, if you look at this second part of his paragraph, let me be clear, this is not a golden calf. We worship the Lord Jesus Christ and him alone. And I was like, who's him? Who's the him for you? Because you could have said we worship the Lord Jesus Christ and Jesus alone. But you're saying this on a post where there's a golden Trump statue that you're leading the dedication at. So I actually really need you to be very clear.
Oh, man. And see, and that's what I'm getting at with these evangelists. It's like, it's weird. It's really weird because it's like they're really supportive of Israel. They're known for doing that. So I get that. But like, to put Trump on such a pedestal, it's really interesting.
Very
to
weird.
me.
I mean, I don't like this idea of worshiping or even praying near these golden statues. It's very idolatry-like. I feel like this is one of those situations where God will judge, and I'm not the person to judge them specifically because I don't know their heart. But we've been warned of this in the Bible over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And if you have to preface it with saying, hey, this is not idolatry, you know what this looks like.
You know what it looks
In
like.
your heart, you know that this is kind of weird because you had to say it. I do not want that on my soul.
Yeah.
Like, this is not something that I want to live one day with, going, first commandment, second commandment says, like, no idols, don't rate anyone above me.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally the first and second commandment. And then all of a sudden, you're praying and touching this golden idol, this golden statue, and you're like, no, it's not an idol. We swear, but I don't want to have to explain myself.
And this pastor was involved, I guess, in the process. I'd looked it up, and it basically said that he was giving Trump updates on kind of like the status of everything as if he were part of organizing this. And it's like, but why is a pastor involved in a golden statue ceremony of somebody who is still alive at that? Because it's one thing to do it posthumously, like when they die, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's still weird, but you know, they were a great person, but to do it while they're alive, that's really not.
I would have
nothing.
felt better if they made it out of stone.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, because at least if it was a stone statue, it's still weird.
It's still weird.
But it's not this whole a gold idol.
It's
Yeah.
very
You know,
biblical.
Yeah, that just makes it weird. And maybe I could give it a little pass because the statue itself was not real gold.
Yeah.
It was bronze, and then they just like wrapped it slightly with gold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe that's the justification. Look, it's not a gold idol. It's a bronze idol, just gold painted.
He doesn't get any pass when he posts a picture of him being I forgot, a doctor. He was
A Red Cross
he was
doctor.
A Red Cross doctor.
Yes. Yeah.
with a robe and him in the clouds and him putting his hands on people, looking like he's healing the sick and wounded, almost like Jesus, huh? Yeah. I'm not giving him no passes on this one.
Yeah, it's just a pattern of these kind of blasphemous type of things that this administration has done, that Trump is known for. And I get it. Trump's not a Christian, so maybe he doesn't realize how offensive this really is. And maybe that could be the case. I don't know. I don't know his heart.
Even the beef with the Pope was weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just been one thing after another.
Yeah, people are like, oh, you know, Trump knows the Bible better than Pope. And I was like, what? I don't know.
I know.
I don't know if that's true at all.
No
I don't
way.
think Trump's ever read the Bible.
Yeah.
You know, I remember the election night. I was watching his election speech. And during his kind of victory speech, he didn't thank God. And I thought that was really odd. Even athletes thank God in their biggest moment. And this is the biggest moment of his life. He got to win the presidency again. You would think, oh, and, you know, thank God for, like, giving me this victory and we're doing it for the country or whatever. He could have easily said that. But he didn't even do that. And when I saw the fact that he deliberately or didn't even think to mention that I'm thanking God for an election victory, I'm like, this guy is a person that never prays. Because if you prayed at all in the biggest moment, you'd at least give God like the tiniest of shout out.
Yeah.
At least a little bit. Because again, even athletes do this.
Yeah.
This is a man that never prays.
So I do see what you're saying. And I actually now wonder, since we're talking about it, because I didn't think about this before, looking at the people who were there, I wonder if this was another massage on his ego or just a way to pacify him to the things that the people around him are trying to do. And I say this because it does not seem like Trump is really at the helm here. Not really, not in the way that it matters. And I say that, and this is gonna sound petty, this is gonna look petty, but it is what it is. He fell asleep today, again, in the middle of just whatever they had going on. Can you look at the video? Or play the video? Yeah. So they say, oh, he was blinking. It was just a really long blink. Or he's just keeping his eye, he was looking down.
blink.
He's just like really looking down. So the point is, you know, obviously Trump is older. We talked about when Biden did this. Biden was very clearly like not really all the way there when he left. Not to say that he was, you know, out to pasture. But this is not what you want in a president. Neither option. Neither when Biden did it nor when Trump is doing it. And so when we're in so many consequential things around the world, you want somebody who is making the decisions, or at least it feels like they're making the decisions. And to me, when I see golden statue, I think, okay, somebody did this to like say, look, Trump, look what we did of you. Now, we need you to sign this paper here so that we can go invade Cuba, so that we can go invade Iran, so that we can do, I mean, he has explicitly said verbatim that if you're nice to him, he's basically gonna do whatever you want. Like he even if you're not a good person, I wish I would have found that clip. He said it like at an Easter lunch, so you can go look it up. Like Easter lunch at the White House. He said like if you're nice to me, you know, it's pretty much all it takes.
Oh my God.
I mean,
golden statues.
Yeah, for the statue, it's not like it's off another property or they put it up in some random spot. This is on his golf course, you know, so he had very much a say in this going up. And if you look at the type of people that were there, I think in one of the pictures, I don't know if we have the picture, standing right next to the preacher that was giving the kind of commencement or whatever it was, was Brock Pierce. So Brock Pierce is one of the founders of Tether, and he is listed in the Epstein files communications emails. He's in there a lot.
Wow.
And one of the emails is like, hey, J.E., I had a really good time with the girls. So he's one of the people that's known to be a Epstein associate, and he is at this ceremony.
Wow.
No shame.
Yeah.
If I was Brock Pierce, number one, I wouldn't be a pedo. But if I was, I would not be able to show my face at these events.
Yeah.
Like, how brazen are you that you are listed in these files over and over again? It's all exposed. And then the first place you go is, I'm going to go to the golden idol ceremony.
But that doesn't even, that actually makes sense to me in that it's very clear so many people know and don't care. Because remember when Marjorie Taylor Greene was saying, oh, Trump yelled at me over the Epstein files because he's saying my friends are going to get hurt. Like, they all know, they don't care. That's so trippy to me. Anyway, did you want to?
Well,
yeah.
so basically, like, we saw the people that was there, right? And you just said that Donald Trump, he's gonna do whatever it is for anybody that treats him nice. Is it safe to say that we're gonna be going to war for a while now because they just put this up? I mean, just the people that was there. I'm just looking at the people that was
Look,
there.
man.
I think we going to war for a while now, man.
It's not a bad question at this point because, like, that's a perfect segue because we were going to tell you guys about Iran anyway. Let's all just pretend to be shocked when I tell you that the ceasefire isn't going well.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
I thought they were going to do it.
We
this
didn't plan that,
time.
by the way.
We didn't plan that. I didn't actually know you guys were going to do
That
this.
just happened.
But I will let the president tell you in his own words. Here it is. I'm sorry, not that one. The ceasefire.
Unbelievably weak, I would say. I would call it the weakest right now. After reading a piece of garbage they sent us, I didn't even finish reading it. They said, I'm not going to waste my time reading it. I would say it's one of the weakest right now. It's on life support. They understand. These are all medical people. Dr. Oz, life support is not a good thing. Do you agree?
Bad prognostic.
I would say the ceasefire is on massive life support.
You know.
So Trump said last week that the ceasefire and a deal is imminent.
Yes.
They said that for weeks.
For
obviously.
weeks, yes.
But last week they were very adamant that this is going to happen any day now. And then Iran sends a deal back, and he says, "I didn't even read it." Is that did he just say I didn't read it?
He said that he didn't read all of it because where he started was just like so nonsense that he wasn't even going to finish it. That's what I got from it. He said that this latest proposal from Iran was totally unacceptable because they sent a counter proposal to the mediators from Pakistan who were trying to figure this whole thing out. The U.S. nuclear demands reportedly included them agreeing to stop nuclear enrichment for up to 20 years, transferring their stockpile of highly enriched uranium overseas, that's the stuff that would become a nuclear weapon, and then dismantle their nuclear facilities. Iran has been saying, we're not doing any of that, and they reportedly counteroffered and said, okay, we will agree to potentially a shorter enrichment moratorium, aka not 20 years. Maybe we do it for, 3, 5, whatever they want to say. We will export a part of our highly enriched uranium stockpile to someone, I guess, that we trust. We will dilute the remaining uranium, and we will not be dismantling any nuclear facilities. And so after reading that, I guess maybe only a portion of it, Trump was just like, I don't like it, totally unacceptable, because he's been saying Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's almost like he's like robotic at this point. He just keeps saying, but you guys know Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. So as soon as he probably hears line number 1, it's like, well, I don't need to read the rest. And that's kind of been Iran's problem. Like, this is a negotiation.
You only negotiate with people that, and to his point, you only negotiate with people that you think have leverage. If he's under the assumption that they don't have any leverage, I mean, what are we talking about here? It makes sense in a sense. I mean, I'm just taking what the government is telling us. If according to them, Iran's been getting bombed and we've actually caused some economic damage, some actual physical damage. I mean, why would we stop at what we want? Like, we want to get everything that we ask for at this point.
That's a really good question, and that's why I think that Trump is not I think they're lying to him. I think he's got people around him who are showing him kind of like bits and pieces, because we know the president can't know everything going on in the country. You do outsource certain things to certain people whose position it is, and I think that maybe people are giving him a very rosy picture, and not the realistic look at what's going on here.
What you remember, there was the I think it was like a Senate hearing, and they was asking the person that's in charge of the CIA, the lady, what's her name?
Tulsi Gabbard?
Yeah, they was asking her like, okay, did you brief Trump on this, and this? And she was like, I haven't briefed him on this. And it's just like, if he's not getting the information, who is he getting it from? If he's not getting it from these CIA directors that he's actually put into place, then where is he getting it from? But I'm going to trust the government, Again, I'm going to try my best to trust them. I'm going to try my best, Will. I'm going to try my best.
Because the CIA has said that they don't have nuclear capability, and a lot of people in the military are saying that actually the military bases in the region are much more damaged than we are told.
Yeah.
And that the Iranian missile supply is not as depleted as we have been told. So there are plenty of people within the military that are saying this loudly. It's either not getting to Trump or he's just ignoring it altogether, because we hear it. It's out there on the internet. People are talking about this. People with the right clearances to know these things are explaining it loudly. And yet he's like, we are winning and they are completely obliterated.
Right.
Is that true or not?
So I will say that Iran is not buying the threats, and they actually said that their restraint is over. So Iran was supposed to get back to the United States in like a day with what they were thinking about with the original proposal and counter-proposal and what we were going to do. But their leadership said, oh no, we're going to get back to them when we're good and ready. And actually Trump kind of said a piece of that today. He was describing his frustration with how long it took to even get this back. Can we play that first?
Free to allow the removal of all their enriched uranium.
Yeah. Well, they did that 2 days ago. They didn't. Okay. They did 2 days ago. They said, you're going to have to take it. We were going to go with them, but they changed their mind because they didn't put it in the paper. So when they sent us this document that we waited 4 days for, that should have taken 10 minutes to do, look, it's very simple. We get that. They guarantee no nuclear weapons for a very long period of time, and a couple of other minor things, but they just can't get there. So they agree with us, and then they take it back. But they said to us that it was so badly obliterated, was the word they actually used. That was my original word, that it got challenged by some of the fake news.
So he's saying a lot there, but the core of it is the reporters asking him, hey, where is the enriched uranium and are you going to get it out of there? And Trump is saying, well, they said we could, but then they took it back and they got back to us in 4 days. So it seems to me like Iran is playing with him. If that's even true and not made up, Iran is not really, I don't know, as stressed as he's making it sound. Their foreign ministry spokesperson said that Tehran, was going to give their response to the ceasefire after they internally reviewed it and they were good with it, not on the U.S.'s time schedule. They said that the leadership is not going to be coerced into a premature agreement by ultimatums. All these deadlines mean nothing to us. Like, they've been saying this publicly. And then that separate Iranian leader said, starting today, our restraint has come to an end. Any attack on our vessels will be met with a heavy and decisive Iranian response against U.S. ships and bases. And they said that time is working against the Americans, and it is in their interest not to act foolishly and sink deeper into the quagmire they have entered. And that end of the quote basically says the best course is to surrender and make concessions. You got to get used to this new regional order. So whether or not they're just bluffing and talking big in the news, remains to be seen. But at least publicly, they're on one accord. When we keep saying they're in disarray, they don't know who's the leader. I don't know who Trump is talking to at this point, because every person I've seen make statements on the Iranian side is saying very similar things to this.
I think that Trump is used to making deals in a way where he has all the power, he has all the leverage, and you kind of lean.
Yeah.
And then they have to react to you. This is his method of making deals. And for him and his business, maybe that worked well. You're building a hotel, you're building a casino, and you're working with contractors that are not as big as you, and you lean on them, you take advantage of them, and you force them to do what you want. Maybe that works there. But in this situation, clearly Iran is not falling for the tactics that Trump likes to use.
Yeah.
Because Trump even said it. They were supposed to turn it around right away.
Yeah.
But they took 4 days. And Iran's like, yeah, we know you want fast. So we're deliberately going to slow walk it, and we're going to make you impatient, force you to make a mistake. Because the American people are fed up with this war. You do not have support for this war. And the longer we draw this out, the chances are probably in their favor. They have to be weaponizing that. And, if I was making that deal, I would do the same.
I mean, but that's just assuming that they actually do have the leverage that they're claiming that they do. I mean, I don't necessarily know if they can take any more missiles from us. I really want to see from some sort of journalist out there that's actually like unbiased, just saying, hey, they are torn up or they're not torn up. And this, I don't know if we're ever going to get that. I mean, I want the
they're
truth.
a country of 90 million people, right? They occupy a lot of land and they have control of the strait right now. They're not in that bad of a shape.
Because I look at the map, I mean, Iran is pretty huge. I mean, we look at the numbers, we see that they've killed some, they've bombed a couple of different cities, but I mean, that's not necessarily touching anything of what actually is in Iran. Iran stays up in the mountains from what I've seen. So it's like we hit a couple of marks, but it's huger than what the government is trying to tell us that there is.
Tehran definitely got hit and blasted. We showed a little bit of that, and that's their capital. You know what I mean? But at the same time, did we hit their arsenal as well as we thought? I believe we hit them hard. In fact, they said that we spent like millions of dollars in like the first like 2 days, if not, it wouldn't have been billions, would have been like millions of dollars. A lot of money in the first 2 days because we just hammered them with all that we had. It seemed, not literally, I'm speaking figuratively here, but we hammered them with a lot. And it seemed like right after that happened, Trump got on TV and said, take back your country, it's yours. Like, we thought that this was over from the beginning. So to be here weeks later in the same spot where we're negotiating does seem like somebody's miscalculated something. Iran's military is saying that their forces are at full readiness to protect their uranium stockpile. And they're saying, if you guys think you're going to come in here, we are not as down bad as you're saying. We're good with heliborne operations, which means they're saying we have some kind of an air force still. We are good against infiltration operations. So try it if you want to. So, I mean, what happens remains to be seen. It just seems to me at this point, the U.S. really has no other options except to cut it and run or bomb them to smithereens. Like this waiting period seems like we're just talking about the same things every day.
We can't.
And then I saw that Iran is saying that they want to take control of the internet pipes within the strait. So that's kind of their next act that they want to do. Because for people that don't know, the world is connected through actual internet pipeways. So the cables go from continent to continent, and there are different ways, and that's how we have global internet. So within the strait is one of those pipeways. And they're saying we're going to take control of that.
Wow. And
therefore, we can control the information and data and a financial system that goes through Europe into Asia.
So that is consequential, especially because this is something that they probably didn't even think about before all of this. Like, not only can we actually put some kind of control measure on the Strait of Hormuz, but we can go a step further and control internet. That's insane. And they also have North Korea looking at all of this and saying, clearly we need to protect ourselves too. So I saw it the other day where basically the North Korean constitution was changed to require the use of a nuclear weapon if the leader there, Kim Jong-un, is assassinated. Wow. So specifically, again, updated their constitution to require an automatic retaliatory nuclear strike if Kim Jong-un is assassinated or the country's nuclear command system is compromised in some way. We're just blowing it. And they said specifically they saw what happened to Iran, and they're just trying to deter people from the jump, because clearly Iran said the same thing. That's how we got into this mess. Iran says, okay, if anybody hits us, we will be attacking U.S. bases in the region. We will be attacking U.S. assets in the region, and we will be attacking Israel. All of it's on the table. If we get attacked, they got attacked anyway. So the U.S. knew this or at least they should have known that this was going to happen. It just seems like they have grossly underestimated.
I mean, during the first Iraq war, George Bush came out and he did a speech and he said, the axis of evil, Iraq, Iran, North Korea. Well, Iraq, down. Iran's in war now. North Korea's like, enter the chat.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, we have a plan, guys. Your axis is the evil thing that's taken 20 years to implement. You can't come here.
Yeah, I don't even think that North Korea, this is why I say having nuclear weapons is a protection in a sense. They really didn't even have to do that, because I don't think it's even on our radar. Once you do have a nuke in your possession, it's almost like America would just leave you alone in a sense.
Well, now you're advocating for Iran to have their own
No,
nuke.
I'm not.
Because that's what they're thinking, by the way.
If you've been listening,
Syria did the same thing.
Right, that's what
they
I'm
were
saying.
close to a nuke, and then Obama said, "Give us your nukes.
Look,
Yeah.
we swear we'll protect you." And as soon as they gave up the program, bombed them.
And that's what I'm saying. I get what you're saying. And if I've always been saying that Iran has the right to do it, I'm not going to tell them that they don't. I mean, you're a human at the end of the day. We can't control you. We also have a right to say, hey, we don't want you to get it. That's okay. I think it's fair to say that both of them could go. They could try and get nukes, but we have a right to tell them, no, you can't get nukes. And the only reason why we have that right or the ability is because we have a nuke. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we're not telling them. We're literally bombing them
we're
to
forcing
forbid them.
Yeah, we're forcing
So we're not
them.
really saying anything.
How bad do you want to fight for it, though? That's the real question. How bad do they want to fight for their nukes? And I'm seeing it.
But for North Korea's point, the U.S. did also prove that we will take it there. You know what I mean? And then they saw probably what happened in Venezuela, which was like surgical. And then we're seeing what's happening in Iran, which is like, okay, they'll just like say whatever to their people to make this make sense for as long as they need to. Clearly, they may try it someday. I mean, and if they do, this is now where we are. And I thought it was a shame, just before we go to break, I just thought it was a shame that we've gotten here as a society in the world where it's like, I gotta like set something in place in case they try to kill me. I'm gonna kill all their people first, just in case they try to kill. It's like, what are we talking about here? Anyway, we do have to go to a break, and then afterwards, we're gonna tell you what Benjamin Netanyahu is saying about all this. You do not want to miss that.
It's like, you drop it, you drop it, you drop it, you know?
Yeah, man, it's not gonna happen, man. It's not gonna happen.
Reggae icon Bob Marley, what was that, 25th anniversary
Yes,
of his passing?
Bob Marley.
Oh, wow.
I'm a
Love
huge Bob Marley fan.
Well, sing us
Yeah.
a little tune. What's your favorite song?
Which one?
It's all right.
Yeah, you
He can't afford it. He can't afford it, but it's all right, man. It's all right.
Is that his song? Don't
Yeah, I
worry.
think so.
Yeah,
Doom,
that's Bob
da,
Marley.
doom, da.
About a thing. Very peaceful guy. It's crazy
Every
that
little thing.
he had assassination attempts, like multiple
I
different
almost watched that Bob
assassination
Marley
attempts.
movie. I never watched.
My favorite
it
place
was
to
good.
go vacation is Jamaica.
So you can
Wow.
pretend that Bob Marley was your favorite artist and
Yeah.
then can't come up with a single song.
Buffalo Soldier.
Okay, all right, okay. I feel it.
What did you do with the accent?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, I love Jamaica. It's one of those places that I love to go, and I think it's, obviously beautiful, and I really enjoy the food in Jamaica.
The food is delicious.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go.
I think it's really flavorful. I love all the jerk chicken and all the things that they do there. I love, they have goat. And,
Jerk chicken in Jamaica. So good.
yeah,
Man.
I love Jamaica.
real. Man, I gotta go to New York. I heard New York has some really good Caribbean food. That's what I've heard. They have some really good Caribbean food because they have their own Caribbean town. I was talking to Shanny Culture about it this weekend. They have a Korean town, a Caribbean town.
Yeah, the Koreans just kind of set up anywhere, don't they?
Just everywhere. But there's a couple. I think there's a Dominican restaurant right near here that we used to go to.
Yo, why don't we go?
They,
We need
they
to
got
go.
they do like a lunch thing, and you can get like oxtail. And
Are they left or?
are they left?
I'm saying they left or are they still there?
Oh, I haven't been there in a couple years. I don't
Man,
know.
That sounds delicious.
I
Oh.
thought
Yeah.
you were asking if they were like lefties.
I'm not eating there. I'm not eating there.
Oh my god.
My favorite food, probably these days tacos. But like I really like burgers. They're just I can't,
She's been green juicing.
I know it's very annoying.
Yeah.
But I'm trying. It's summertime, man. Can't be fat in these streets. Welcome back to Hot 97 News, everybody. Okay, when we left you, we promised you we're going to talk about Benjamin Netanyahu. That is Israel's prime minister, and he says we are not allowed to be done with the war yet. That's what I heard. He was basically interviewed for like an hour and 18 minutes by, was it CBS? It was like 60 minutes.
60 minutes.
So, I mean, what did you guys think when you saw his interview? We'll just get into it because I have a couple clips to show you guys what happened.
Well, I thought it was interesting because they covered a lot of topics.
They did.
Which was interesting. Number one, he said that the war doesn't end until basically he says it's over.
Basically, I mean,
Which was crazy to say out loud. He also said that the reason why people are so mad at Israel is because foreign bot farms are creating this environment for it, and that Israel needs to ramp up their propaganda, which is crazy because I feel like they've been doing a lot of propaganda over the last few years.
They have, yeah.
He also said that that Hamas in Palestine, that they have not agreed to all the four conditions and that they've only done 2 of 4. Basically, he's saying that this needs to extend longer. Another one.
I like how he kept on saying, well, he at one point he had mentioned how, people love him. He got his name everywhere plastered around Israel and other countries, and people actually are supportive of him, and it's very interesting to think like that when I don't know how you can.
He said it was really popular in India. He didn't go out of his way to say 1.4 billion people in India love me. I was like, sure? I can't fact check you there.
Oh, if you say so. Is it vibe? So I actually have a lot of those moments so you guys can see what happened for yourself. So first of all, Netanyahu was asked about whether he basically conned Trump into doing all of this with Iran, telling him that it was going to be easy and in and out, quick and dirty. And he said no. They all talked about the uncertainty and the risks. My biggest impression of it was that he kept saying, oh no, Trump's idea, and this is on Trump, and he's such a great leader. Like, he was basically gassing him up, making it seem like, oh, this is not me, this is Trump, this is we, this is just, us being a model ally. And every kind of answer was framed that way, where he was just trying to remind everybody, oh no, this is Trump, he's the big man, not me, because everybody's been saying, okay, clearly you're at the helm of all of this on America's behalf. So there were a few interesting exchanges that we grabbed for you. And one came after Netanyahu was asked if the war was over and who would decide when it was over. And he said at that point, oh, well, I think, we've already accomplished a lot, but it's not over because there's still the nuclear material, the enriched uranium that's still there, and the enrichment sites still have to be dismantled, and the proxies, Hezbollah and Hamas, are still out there. Iran still supports them. They are still trying to produce ballistic missiles, and we have got to stop all of that. And so the reporter then asks, okay, so the war can't end until all of that is eliminated? And here is his response to that.
This war cannot end until all those things are eliminated.
Well, certainly we want to get the nuclear material out. We certainly want to get the enrichment sites dismantled. We've curbed a lot. We've degraded a lot of the missile production sites, but the agreement should cover all these areas, including the proxies. Can it end with, as President Trump has led now, a blockade and economic pressure on them to do it with non-military means? Fine. If it can be accomplished, why not? But if not, both the United States and Israel, we both agree, President Trump and I, that if necessary, we can re-engage them militarily if it's necessary.
So you heard what he just said, and what I just listed out as his reasons for why we still need to be there. That was not what Iran and Trump were talking about at the beginning of the newscast. It was not dismantle or I think that one was in there. The support for the proxy groups was not in there. The ballistic missiles was not in there. It was just all about the nuclear material. Trump's hard line is you guys can't have a nuclear weapon. The rest of what he just is talking about, that's something that Israel would like. The question is, how far will we go based on what they want us to do versus what Trump says our priorities are?
It's like, when you get invited to something and then someone invites you and your man or you and your girl, and you're really speaking for yourself, but then you have to include them because otherwise you have to say we. Like, oh no, we can't go to dinner because we can't, like, really you're not going to go, but you have to include. That's what it feels like when he talks. He's like speaking on the behalf of him, like he's making the decision, but because it is an American show, he's like, and U.S. also.
Yes, he
It's
has
what it
to.
feels like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
exactly.
he's got like this weird smirk on his face and talking about war and nuclear war. It's like really off-putting.
You're killing people.
You know, like yeah, like we have to go in there again.
If
Seen
it
that.
works, if it works diplomatically,
Why are you smirking?
it's not funny.
Is it serious or not?
He's extremely calm, extremely politically correct. I remember one point in time, the questioner, he asked him some sort of question and he just refused. He said, you could keep asking this question, but I'm not going to answer it.
That might be this next clip.
Okay, cool,
Because he
cool,
does
cool.
mention it. I'm not sure if this is, but I remember that too.
Yep.
So the reporter asks, how do you envision the enriched uranium will be removed from Iran? And this picks up at his answer.
You go in and you take it out.
With what? Special forces from Israel? Special forces of the United States?
Well, I'm not going to talk about military means, but what President Trump has said to me, I want to go in there. And I think it can be done physically. That's not the problem. If you have an agreement and you go in and you take it out, why not? That's the best way.
What if there isn't an agreement? Can it be taken out by force?
Well, you're going to ask me these questions. I'm going to dodge them because I'm not going to talk about our military possibilities, plans, or anything of the kind.
And I'm just trying to get at how long is it going to take to achieve that aim?
I'm not going to give a timetable to it, but I'm going to say that's a terrifically important mission.
I mean, he says our decision. I'm not going to give a time frame about my military action. Whose war is this?
Right.
Because we were told over and over and over again, Bibi Netanyahu had nothing to do with this war, that the United States has been planning this, is something that Trump needed to do, that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and that this was necessary for the freedom of the world. But then Bibi's out there going, we. Whose war is this?
Well, he also mentioned in that interview basically how him and Donald Trump, as soon as he sat down with Donald Trump, that was the first thing that came out of Donald Trump's mouth.
Yeah.
The first thing that came out of Donald Trump's mouth is, hey, I want to save Israel. I want to save y'all from Iran. We got to make sure Iran doesn't get these nuclear wars and all this other stuff. So if we're listening to him, at least, and that nasty little smirk he got on his face, it looked like he had a cold sore or something like that, but he was smiling. And I mean, according to him, this is what has always been on Trump's mind. And it's so funny because he never mentioned it while he was running. He never mentioned it while he was running. What changed?
So if that was the first thing that he said to you, that's very strange.
Exactly.
Because he didn't tell anybody that voted for him. That was like the top thing on his mind. And so we can just go into this whole social media battle of it all since we're talking about it. Yeah. I mean, for years, nobody really thought about Israel like that. If you did, you did. But I think the vast majority of us just kind of thought, okay, they just exist over there and it is what it is. But recently, since we've been seeing Israel just in the news all the time and just certain atrocities, really, if we're being honest about it, that it is allegedly perpetrated by them as they're fighting wars in Gaza and in Iran, people are looking at them like, okay, what are you really about? And he says that he feels like there's really just a propaganda war against Israel right now, and they just happen to be losing the social media battle. And so here's this part. It's going to be two different clips I have for you basically explaining it. So here's part one.
Israel has gone to unbelievable lengths to get innocent civilians out of harm's way. We text message millions of text messages to them, make millions of phone calls to them, pamphlets, leaflets, you name it, okay? We have seen the deterioration of the support for Israel in the United States almost, I would say it correlates almost 100% with the geometric rise of social media. And that by itself is not what caused it. And I don't believe in, in censoring them or anything, but I'll tell you what happened. We have several countries that basically manipulated social media, and they do it in a clever way. And that's something that has hurt us badly.
So he's basically saying he's not trying to censor anybody, but he feels like now that social media exists and people can talk and see different things on social media, Israel's losing the social media battle, and it's all perpetrated by other countries who want to see them harmed.
The internet is undefeated. You guys have heard me say that over and over again.
we have.
What the internet is really good at is figuring out what's going on, regardless of what the propaganda from one side or the other side is telling you. And for him to say the reason why people are mad at Israel is because of the propaganda or the bot farms, that's crazy. Because the reason why people are mad at Israel is because everyone's seen the videos of them bombing Gaza, bombing children, saying, oh, we actually don't care that there were children or women in that building because we had to get the one bad guy in the basement.
Right.
And like, we don't care.
Right.
So we've all seen that in 4K.
Yeah.
My thing is, I don't think that Israel actually wants to win the social media war. I think they do want to be looked at as the evil, as the bad guys, because you're not going to sit here and tell me that Iran, a country that's not richer than Israel by any means, is beating Israel in a social media battle. They could make propaganda if they wanted to, and they could push it out. They have the money to do it. They have money that they're sending to America all the time. They have the money to do it. I think they want to be looked at as the bad guy so that when other people start hating them, they can start doing other things. They could basically use these as excuses to cause more harm in the future. That's what I think.
Disagree adamantly. I think that they are doing everything they can to make themselves look better. I think they are doing everything they can to propagandize the public to gain their support. It's just they're that unlikable right now. They are that unpopular, and it's just not working.
They have said, Benjamin Netanyahu has explicitly said that social media is like the biggest tool in their arsenal for as far as like weapons go. Like he acknowledges how important and how crucial and how consequential social media is and having social media on your side. And so actually the reporter pushed him on that and said, okay, you think that like it's all just bot farms, and bot farms are basically people who have a ton of accounts who can just flood the internet with one thing. We hate whatever country it is. So I got a bot farm, all million of my bots are saying the same thing. That's what he's alleging. So the reporter asked, okay, so you've done nothing tactically in Gaza or the West Bank that has contributed to this, and this is that part of it.
Of course, look, it's war. And in war, armies sometimes miss and civilians die. And these are mistakes. These are not deliberate things that happen. Israel is besieged on the media front, on the propaganda front, and we've not done well on the propaganda war.
So it just is what it is. Sometimes civilians die.
So Larry Ellison, who is a known contributor to the IDF, a known Zionist who contributes to the Israeli government, him and his family has bought CBS News, which is doing this interview. They have purchased TikTok, and they're the largest investor in TikTok now. It says, oh, you can't let a foreign country own TikTok, and now them and the Saudi Arabians own TikTok. They own the platforms. They've literally went out of their way in the last 24 months to buy the platform so that they can push their agenda. If you are anti-Israel or pro-Palestine, you have a very hard time on TikTok because they censor that information, and the people that own the platform are pro-Israel. And you're going to say, oh, we haven't done the propaganda. It's actually the propaganda's fault. That is such a poor excuse because they are not only pushing the propaganda, but they are buying up the mechanism and the platforms that push that propaganda.
Right.
And they're saying it's not working. It's not working because no one believes you. Not because you don't have the ability to do it. Not because you're not doing it. It's not because you're being fair. It's not working because no one believes you anymore.
I just hear about the religion and how they, at one point in time, I think it says somewhere in one of those books that, you know, is out there, the historic books, that at one point in time, the Messiah is going to come due to, you know, everybody hating Israel. It's one of those things where Israel's going to be hated, and in order to fulfill that, you know, prophecy, you got to do some things to get hated on. There's no excuse. There's no excuse for them to not. I mean, if they have, you know, X accounts and if they do own these major platforms, you can't sit here and tell me that regular civilians is beating out the system, beating out the algorithm. There's no way you can make me believe that.
I mean, they are paying for people to be a part of their trips. You know, I've been on Instagram a very long time, or several years, and I've actually been invited on one of these Israeli trips.
Have you?
Yeah, they invited me to go, say, hey, if you come out, I will pay for your trip, we'll pay for your accommodations, and you come out for a week, whatever. And I said no, because obviously I didn't go. But they do. I know a lot of people that have done that trip. And when you go out there, you are required to do a certain amount of pro-Israel propaganda posts. They tell you what to say. You are not allowed to say anything negative about what you do there. And if you fall out of the program or you don't do what they tell you to do, they just leave you there and you got to figure out your way back home.
Why didn't you go? Like, did you know all that going into it, or like, why did you not go?
Yeah, I mean, it was really early on. I'm going to say maybe 4 years ago. And this was actually right the summer after October 7th. So about 6 months after October 7th.
Okay.
And they were trying to get a bunch of people online and influencers or whatever else to come out to Israel. And it just didn't feel right. It felt like a propaganda trip. It's not something that I'm really for. I kind of say whatever's on my mind and it gets me in trouble sometimes, but It is what it is. So it's not something that I actually even considered to do.
What bothered me recently that happened, everybody was still really spinning out and freaking out, I think reasonably, over what was happening in Gaza and all the Palestinians that were, I think at that point, starving. I think there was there was an allegation that Israel was not letting them get food, and there was a huge humanitarian crisis, and they said that they were going to let reporters in. Everybody kept saying, why don't you let independent journalists into the area so they can independently report on what's going on? Like, don't guide them in, don't have them under surveillance, don't tell them what areas they can go to, just let them in to report what's going on if nothing fishy is going on here. And Benjamin Netanyahu came out and said, yeah, I would love to do that. I think that's great. And what they ended up doing was bring out a bunch of influencers. And so at that point, it told me, and I didn't really, I wanted to be as fair as possible, but that right there tells me you don't want anybody to report. You want people to influence. You want people to come out with talking points and stand here in front of a food pallet and says, oh, this food pallet's getting here because I'm an influencer. I'm not here to really tell you what's going on. I'm here to influence you what the highest bidder paid me to influence you about. So that's what I thought was sketchy. And to this day, we never really even learned what was going on with that. It just left the media cycle.
I think you have to fact check this, but I think it was maybe 27 independent journalists and media people that went out to try to cover it that have been killed while they were over there.
Wow.
So it's a big number of independent people trying to report fairly on what it is that end up dead.
I think
see it's 27.
How many journalists? Because there were a lot of journalists over this scope of just, everything happening out there in the Middle East. But Netanyahu, just to land the plane here, did say that he feels like Israel has emerged as the most powerful country in the Middle East. And they have a partnership with the U.S. that is second to none. So it's going well for Israel, and we'll see what happens next. In the meantime, talking about other countries' affairs, apparently Trump is seriously considering making Venezuela the 51st state. Now, he has floated this before, and everybody kind of thought it was a joke. Everybody thought he was kind of just being cute because he's like, that'd be a good idea. But today, was it today or was it yesterday? At some point in the past couple of days, maybe it was over the weekend, there was a Fox News host who said he had just talked to Trump, and he was very serious about it. And here's just a little piece of what he said.
He kind of surprised me a little bit because he said, John, I just want to tell you, I'm very serious about this. So you can talk about this. I'm serious about beginning a process to make Venezuela the 51st state.
Wow.
He has said that about Canada and Greenland, floating it, making it the 51st state. But I also don't think he's joking. What did you think? What were you going to say?
I mean, the chances of us having a state in another continent, it doesn't make any sense.
It's crazy,
actually.
yeah.
There's no way to protect it. There's no way to put resources there. It's going to be... the people of Venezuela aren't going to go along with it. The United States did it to Hawaii, and Hawaiians actually, as a population, don't want to be a part of the United States. Most people don't know that. But that is easier because it's a tiny country, and we put the military base right next to Hawaii to protect it. What are you going to do in South America? Is Brazil going to be okay with this? Is Argentina? Well, maybe Argentina will be.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's a lot of countries like, no, we don't want the U.S. right here in our backyard, because the trust in what the U.S. is doing right now globally in the world militarily, there's not a lot of faith there.
Yeah.
Who wants the United States at their border right now when they're just going into wherever they want? And, international law really doesn't apply any longer. do you want that guy next to you?
And like
it doesn't
kind
make
of
any sense.
extracting almost, like just kind of figuring out like, oh, what can we take from these people? So Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, basically said, no, that's not happening. And we're not going to be a 51st state. She said the idea has never been considered. She says that Venezuelans love their independence process and their national heroes, which I don't really know where to fall on that, because she was part of the regime that everybody was said to have hated. She was a part of Nicolas Maduro's regime, which the U.S. was supposed to help oust and bring in the other lady that nobody talks about anymore, Maria Corina Machado. She was supposed to be the one that everybody voted for. I haven't heard about that lady's name in weeks. And so she's not in the chat at all. They haven't had elections to replace anybody. And Trump just keeps saying that Delcy Rodriguez is doing a great job there. So, I mean, I don't know. Even if she didn't want it to happen, it doesn't seem like she had a choice. Because remember, back when everything happened, they were like, oh, if Delcy doesn't know what we want, she can get worse than Maduro. We're like, well, yeah, man, what's worse than getting kidnapped in the middle of the night? Probably like dying. You know what I mean? So she doesn't have a choice.
What happened to that other lady, Machado, who even gave her Peace Prize to Trump?
Literally.
He showed up and literally gave like, oh, you want Nobel Peace Prize? Here you go. I'll put your name engraved on.
She couldn't have done any more. She couldn't have done any more.
Gone.
And some people in the country looked at her as if, ooh, you're getting a little too cozy with foreign interests, and you don't seem like you have our best interests at heart, and you know you're kind of not treasonous, but almost treasonous in some senses. In the sense that like we have our government set up this way, and you're actively trying to work with foreign entities to get us out of here. For them who were in power, she was like the anti-Venezuelan, you know what I mean? And so now here we are with the same regime in place, but she still is just on the outside because the regime is just deciding they don't have a choice but to let the U.S. do whatever they want. That's a weird situation.
I think that the whole Venezuela thing was maybe part of the reason why Trump is so actively a part of Iran.
Yeah.
Because he thought it's going to be just like Venezuela.
Totally agree.
We just walked in one night, in, out, everything collapsed, and then the next person up, Delcy Rodriguez, is so on our team. They're so supportive of what we're doing. And he thought in his mind that if I go to Iran and I take out their leader, the same thing would happen, and it didn't.
Totally agree.
And now they don't know what to do because their whole plan was it's going to be over in 24 hours, just like Venezuela. And yes, sir, and you can do it. And Bibi's like, yeah, you can do it. It's so easy. You just got to go in and you're out. It's done. Here we are, month and a half later, and there is no end in sight.
Yeah. I think that's also why he was considering leaving the same people in charge, because that's what we just did in Venezuela. Because the people in charge clearly have the rest of the population clamped down and up. There's a lot of factions in Iran. So the fact that these guys, you know, awful as they are, have been able to keep them down and keep them from successfully uprising, like you do kind of need that for stability purposes. If you're going to try to like extract everything you have, you just need them to be on your side. So we will see what happens with that. I can tell you, real quick, because I didn't want this whole show to be like, is everybody having a good time? Everybody's having a good time. That's fine. Seems like Trump wants to do the same thing in Cuba. They seriously have their eyes on Cuba, and it seems like they want to do that to them next and use that Venezuela model, and it's not working there yet either. So they just announced new sanctions on Cuba on top of the oil blockade they have going on, and Cuba's leadership is still saying, we are not going to fold unless you literally come here and try to kill us all. Like that's, I'm just in my words, but Trump is saying, I'll have the honor of taking Cuba, and I'm doing something with Cuba very soon. And, we should be able to basically revert it back to the Cuba that we remember, where we were more friendly and on better terms, and our businesses could go in and do whatever they wanted there. So last I heard, which was last week, the foreign minister Bruno Rodriguez was talking to ABC, and he was saying, look, the U.S. is on a dangerous path that could lead to a bloodbath in Cuba. He takes Trump's threats very seriously and said that if they get attacked, Cuba would exercise their right for its legitimate defense and basically defend itself to the very last consequences. So he says there's been no progress in talks, but it does seem like if the U.S. could, they will pull a Venezuela, and they could make it happen a lot easier than Iran. So they could just cut and run from Iran and try to get another win in Cuba. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, what are we talking about here? We got Cubans thinking that they could take on America now? This is unfortunate. I mean, what's going on? Us going out to Iran just made us look weaker. Us handling this whole entire situation, telling Iran, hey, look, we need you to do this by a certain deadline, or we're gonna blow up the whole entire state. We didn't do that, and then we had to extend all these deadlines. We look weak. We have Cuba now thinking that they can take America. This is craziness. They can't even, their citizens don't even have guns. What are we talking about here?
Well, number one, Cubans are not saying they're going to take America.
They said they're going to fight. No,
right?
I'm not saying take, but they're going to defend.
But the United States has been blockading and had an embargo on Cuba for what, 60 years now? So it's been a long time. They've outlasted actually this long. The whole idea was that if you embargo them and you don't let them trade and you remove their access to the rest of the world, that they would collapse on their own. It hasn't actually happened.
Even with the oil blockade, which was really supposed to do it, they were supposed to collapse.
Because people are like, oh yeah, Cuba, they don't have any resources, they're really poor, and look how they live their lives. Well, you can't live your life well if the big country next to you prevents you from trading with everybody else.
Yeah.
So they've had to just figure it out, and somehow they're actually still there. I find that actually fascinating.
I do too.
How are they still alive when the United States has completely blocked them off from the entire world?
It is very fascinating how they've been able to survive long enough. Again, this is survive. They're in survival mode right now.
That's true.
You're going to take on America or defend America. The fact that you're surviving and you guys are starving, or according to the reports, they're going through it. They think that they can defend themselves against America. It's because we look weak while we're out there in Iran. I'm not saying go and destroy Iran, but the longer we stay out there and have Iran keep on talking to us crazy and us not doing anything about it, the longer everybody else is gonna look at America like we're some punks.
Do you know
on one hand, we do have to go.
Do you know who's starving?
Wow,
do you know who's hungry? Do you know who has a hard time getting out into the world? Americans. Can we take care of them first?
And we have to go. You stole my last word, but that's fine because it's your last day. Matt, Kim, everybody, we have got to go. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for having me, everybody.
A major move today. Hot 97 is expanding.
Hot 97 has launched a full streaming television channel.
Hot 97 is no longer just a radio station, it's now a streaming network.
Welcome to Hot 97 News. Let's dive into the news because the news has been newsing.
Hot 97 Mornings with Mero. We got Shiny Culture in the building. Leah Bell in the building.
Good morning.
And DJ Cass One.
You know what it is. You know how I get down with the Funk Flex energy, baby.
Let's get it, Flex.
Nobody don't want no smoke.
Wow, it got spicy real fast. Here for it all.
We're here for it all.
Let's go. Mariah Carey takeover.
The people made it happen.
Yeah.
I'm coming around to all the classrooms and we turning up.
Good morning, students. My name is Wale. Aren't you supposed to be in class?
Wale, where are you supposed to be?
Oh, man, you're supposed to be in class, man.
Rihanna has become a true worldwide icon.
Congratulations on the job. We listen to Hot 97 every day. We can't wait to hear you guys even more.
Hey, let's go!
Get ready. The legend is on your screen. Funk Flex, the man who defines hip-hop, is bringing the heat from the radio booth to your TV.
I'm Mark Cameron.
That's my camera? All right.
The biggest beats, the hottest freestyles, and that classic flex energy.
Bars are back.
Now in your living room. Don't just hear it, watch the movement. Funk Flex, now on Hot 97 TV, Mondays and Fridays at 7:30 p.m.
The voice and attitude you love, now on your screen. I love this. Nessa brings her unfiltered energy, real talk, and celebrity interviews from the radio to your TV. It's the same Nessa you know. Bold, funny, and always keeping it real. Catch Nessa, now on TV.
Damn, that was deep right now.
Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m. Only on Hot 97 TV.
Welcome to Hot 97 News Atlanta. Chris here with Rondell with 2 N's.
What it do? Give it up to you.
And Million.
Hey, the fact that this is a reality.
Brand new live news show. I'm your host.